In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Hi everyone. Lovely to have you again with us. Second week of this relationship series. Today, everyone is questioning what is comfortable singlehood. Why everyone is going to talk about comfortable singlehood. I think you're going to find out in just a moment or two. Start. Okay, good. So the very first thing when you hear two people are getting married, or like preparing for a wedding, or on the wedding day, when you go to weddings nowadays, what do you think people usually say? Huh? Eh? What? The eh? ربنا يكون في عونهم. God be with you. عيني حرام. You're getting married. Okay. ثاني what else? ربنا يتمم بخير. ماشي كويس. This is something better. What else? عقبالك. Sure. Why did you do this to yourself? Yeah, exactly. That's the one actually I'm looking for. All these comments, we throw them around. Guess what we're saying? Basically, it's better to stay single than to get married. Years ago, before priesthood, I think very few people, or actually I came across one person. I think I was before getting married, and I think this person, very holy, very nice person, and I was assigned to drive home, and yeah, like she's older, she was married with children and everything, and lots of responsibilities, and very tough. And and while we were driving, she told me, you're getting married. Marriage is something really beautiful. Marriage is something really nice, and you enjoy God more. And you have responsibilities that fulfill you and fulfills God's plan. And at the time, it's like, this is strange to my ears. I was like getting married. As much as I needed someone to say those things, as much as it was so strange to hear. And probably you're sitting here and like, Abuna, I think you're just delusional. I don't think anyone would say these things nowadays in a wedding. But truly, that was a very important encouragement. And I think and it still echoes in my years until today. Okay? So I think the very first thing about being comfortable in singlehood, a collective responsibility that we all keep pushing each other to stay single, or single as long as you can. If we throw these comments around, that means implicitly we're saying stay single as long as you can. Don't get yourself to be married. Okay? And with those comments sitting in our systems, in our heads, is like it throws a lot of doubts whenever we come to get into a relationship. So the society negative view of marriage tints a wrong picture about God's plan. And as we're gonna see how this promotion of comfortable singlehood, or you're comfortable or you're better staying single idea, okay, contribute to our struggle to get married nowadays. Okay? So just a little bit of maybe history. Anyone knows when did the laws started to change? We have some lawyers in the room and online. When did the laws start to change about divorce?
In the Catholic Church or just in general?
In general. Huh? 90s or 60s means huge, right? The between 60s, 70s, 60s. Anyone from the law area?
Why don't we just Google it?
Google it.
I'd say the 80s.
What is that? Yeah, the late 60s, 1969. The first law, I think, that was passed in California that allows any two to divorce, or at least one can choose to divorce for with no fault reason. Okay, so that's how it's all started. So with that movement, that started to change the attitude in the whole community, in the society as whole, that it's okay to divorce for any reason. Meanwhile, what is the commandment? It's not okay to divorce for any reason. It's not okay to divorce for any reason, right? Except for adultery or, as we know, like changing faith or an abusive relationship or something that is endangering someone's life. Okay, but as soon as that changed, whether you like it or not, whether you're Coptic or not, the whole society view on divorce started to shift. Divorce is okay, and if it does not work out, it's an acceptable option to have divorce. So with that option, why do I get married? If for any reason I would be okay for the other person to give up the marriage. And even those who are married, you find them actually also, even today, you find this like there is no stamina in like to stay together when times are getting hard. And as priests, this is you hear it a lot. As soon as something or glitch goes wrong or something, just even a small hardship, Abuna, you know what? خلاص, I'm done with this marriage. I don't want, get me out of this marriage. You're coming here in my office to tell me get me out of this marriage. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not. Okay, I'm a priest. And if I'm a priest, then I follow the Bible. And the Bible tells me you have to stay with it. You have to fight it. You have to put in lots of hard work. It's a decision. It's not based on how I feel about it, or because of there is some kind of trouble, or because he's not communicating, or because she's not respecting me. So the idea of covenant marriage started to slowly diminish since that time. The early 70s started to diminish. And as a result, we come to today, why get married if I could easily face divorce for almost any reason? You get the idea? So again, you find the statement comfortable singlehood is much better than getting married. Why get married? Also, because of that, of course, over time, then you have lots of divorces started happening, and also you have broken homes or broken families or struggling marriages. So nowadays, a lot of the youth are a result of those homes, whether divorce or broken marriages. They struggle with that. It affected many of us. It affected many of you, because if I've seen it not working with my parents, or if I've seen it not working with many couples in my family, what encouragement do I have in my life today? Right? So I started to grow with a very poor image of marriage. I have a very poor image of marriage growing up. And we lost the healthy and godly image that God instilled, as we're going to talk about that. So, marriage is not about, you know, being, sometimes we think of it, it's like being dependent on one another. Or other times, I want to maintain my independence. I want to always be independent. Meanwhile, we are built to have um, a social life. We are built to be social beings. We are built to have an interdependent. So, interdependent, where we depend on one another, but each one of us, we have our own separate dependency. We are independent separately, but yet we depend on each other as husband and wife. Nowadays, you find that the world is pushing a lot on this idea that you have to be independent. You are yourself. You just follow your dreams. You just follow your feelings. So, and with that, of course, what is helping us the most in this process? We all have one of these, right? Right. So those devices, many other innovations like video gaming, um, cell phones, like everything online. Slowly, now you can actually almost do everything by yourself. You don't need other people. And therefore, it's promoting a comfortable singlehood status. I'm okay being single. Why am I going to get someone else and get myself headache? Right? Abuna John Boutros last week focused a lot about expectations. And many times he spoke about whenever you like getting married means that you're gonna have to give up a lot of your decisions, a lot of your ideas. You're gonna have to compromise a lot. Meanwhile, the world around me is trying to always push this idea that you're comfortable being alone. Why bring someone who is completely different than you? No, you have to find someone who is similar like you, or like who can make you more comfortable than how you are right now. I'm trying to find someone who will make me happier or make me more comfortable than what I am right now being single. What do you think of this statement?
Yes. Well, a lot of-
Looking for someone to make me happier. Because I'm already happy. I have everything. Amir.
If there's looking someone to make me more comfortable, then it's gonna be boring because
It's gonna be boring.
in relationships, like there gotta be similarities, like 80%, but at least there need to be 20% differences.
Everybody's
Or
looking for.
else, like they're not gonna be exchanging their thoughts, hobbies, activities.
So basically, you're looking for someone to make your life harder.
A little bit like that.
So you're okay with that? Okay, very good.
I think everybody's looking.
Amir is a very good candidate.
Everybody's looking for people who are gonna be the same in a lot of ways and who are not gonna be different because they don't want a difficult life. So when I've seen it, basically, some of the questions that happen
Yeah.
through service, they start having these big lists, like, okay, like we have to be the same in every single category.
Okay.
And then that's unrealistic because there's no way that's gonna happen.
Okay. Who agrees? Who sees what Alex is saying here? That I'm looking for someone who is similar to me in so many different ways. Who agrees with this?
I'm not saying I'm doing that, I'm just saying in general.
Not shooting yourself in the foot. Yeah. No? Who thinks like Amir? Amir there is saying I'm looking for someone who is almost opposite of me so that can make things exciting, basically.
I think it depends, like the core values thing, we should share the same values.
Yeah, we're not talking about core values. We're not talking about when it comes to Christianity or being spiritual or being Christian, right? We're not talking about those core values. That's what Abuna John last week spoke about. He said, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about like the expectations. Basically, like he gave the example of his wife wanted to have the children go to school. He wanted to stay with his children for as long as possible before taking them to school, like something like that.
Yes, as long as they don't like take me away from my relationship with God, because even you can be Christian but you don't like to go to church.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can be Christian and you don't like to do things that I normally do to enhance my relationship with God or come closer to God. So I think that could be also, yeah, something different, but not good.
What do you mean? So, as single right now, I need someone else to help me to go to church, or someone that will not stop me from going to
If
church.
I'm going to church, like periodically, I'm a church goer, and I go to church every Sunday. This is something I like to do.
Yeah.
But the other person is Christian, Coptic, but the other person doesn't like to go to church every Sunday. Church is good, it's like, yes, it's part of our core values,
Okay.
core values, but it's not taken the same way I am taking it. So that could, I think, is potential for a
Okay.
in the relationship.
I'm going to church every Sunday, and I'm coming attending the meeting here. But the person that I'm looking for, or like I'm considering, is a servant that spends like 3 days at church serving. I'm okay with that. See what I'm saying here? I'm giving you. You said, yeah. I'm giving you an example where I'm Christian. The other person is Christian, but it's kind of like the other person is more Christian than I am Christian. And does it make sense?
No, okay, hold on.
Send Alex.
I want to help him.
Yeah, okay. So someone like this, I mean, you're saying no, this is too much. Like, okay.
What he's saying is, you can't, like St. Paul, I don't remember now. You cannot yoke a donkey to an ox, so you have to be in the same spiritual direction.
Okay.
Even if you're both in church, doesn't necessarily mean
I love that.
that you're both actually a good match. And it doesn't mean you judge someone else for their relationship or something, because that's wrong also. Everybody is in a different path and a different step where they are with the relationship with God.
But so always we're gonna have always two people are gonna be different. Okay?
It's how different they are, that's all.
So I'm always gonna come back to the same mentality. Well, I'm comfortable where I am. I go to church on Sunday, and the rest of the week I have it to myself. I'm happy this way. Or the other person, I'm serving, I'm enjoying service. I love to serve 3-4 days a week. I don't want someone to come, and restrict my freedom. I like to be independent and just serve God. I'm comfortable being single. طب مش عاجبك الكلام يا أمير؟ There are examples like that. Believe me. I know examples like that. Yeah. I know servants, but these servants that I know, they actually had to give up some of their services in order to get into this marriage. Because the other person was just content with going to church once a week and doing something else. So they had to come to compromise. Okay, so both actually, she pushed him to come to church a little bit more, and he pushed her to stop serving a little bit. And things worked out, and they got married, and they're great actually, right? But what I'm trying to give you here is like this is an example of. I'm not giving you the extreme. I'm giving you really a realistic example. Okay, where sometimes we think like, and imagine these two. If each one, I don't want like such a servant كل يوم في الكنيسة and like this is too much. No, I don't want this. And she didn't say, well, you know what, you're going to church once a week. This is not good enough for me. It doesn't make what I'm saying, and I know like it doesn't make him a bad person. He's a good Christian and really loves God and working in his spiritual life. And she is likewise, right? This does not make them, it's not a deal breaker. Okay, so sometimes these things do stop us from proceeding in a relationship because I value my singlehood or being single more than I'm willing to give up and sacrifice. I was watching this reel by Abuna Boris George, if you came across it, and he was saying basically like, yani, if you if you get married and you do not do good to your wife, okay, and you do not sacrifice for her, you are actually guilty. You're actually like almost like يعني, a murderer. Like, so he's saying like if you're planning to get married, you have to be ready to give up 50% of your life. That means 50% of your freedom. You have to give up 50% of your decisions. Whatever it is, it's gonna be 50% of it is gonna be the opposite. Okay? So the comfortable being single or the comfortable singlehood stage, you have to be ready to give up that comfy status. Okay, so this brings us to what we call today, and especially sorry with guys, now it's also with the girls as well, fear of commitment, right? You hear this term being thrown around a lot. Fear of commitment. He has this fear of commitment, doesn't want to commit. She doesn't want really to commit. She's still looking around, like she's using this guy as like just, to show that the guys are interested in her and like comfortable. You're smiling, childishly. So, unfortunately, many of us also look at marriage as a final step in a process of growing. Marriage is a final step in growing up. One time, and I think 1 or 2 years married, a couple that are like 1 or 2 years of marriage, and comes Abuna, we're married, now what? We've been married for a year or so, and now what? Like, we've done everything. We got married. We were happy with the wedding. We go out. Everything. Now what? We don't see a purpose anymore in our marriage, right? So, and that's a struggle. That's a struggle because many times, many of us, we come to that step, and you start dating and doing everything and finding out about the person. And now, okay, are you ready to commit? I'm gonna get married. All this fun is gonna end. We don't, unfortunately, we are programmed that marriage is the end of fun time. And marriage is the end of my freedom and it's going to restrict me. Meanwhile, the Bible, God, teaches us that marriage is the beginning of living with God. Okay? Um, so there is the research, by the way, and many of there are some quotations I'm gonna be using from this book called the Singlehood Phenomena. Okay, I'm not looking at the whole book, just a small part of it. So it's a very funny book, actually. It gives you some reasons why people are still staying single or for later. It says like 10 brutally honest reasons people are not getting married. Okay. So if you want to read more about this, you can read this book. It's a bit old, but it's very realistic, I find it, until today, actually. Let me check you the publishing. The publishing year was 2002. It's not so old. Okay. So what the author is saying here, actually, in one of researches, that many of those 23 years to in the early 30s stay away, and they have a stigma that there is a stigma of getting married until later on in age. And maybe I can use an example of in the Coptic Church, such meetings or events or gatherings of what do we call young adults, or meetings or graduate meetings, such as the one that we are in, right? I know, huh? Yeah, especially maybe like the mid-20s, they will always say, what, I don't want to go to these meetings because people going to these meetings, they're looking to get married. And why you're not looking to get married? Yani you graduated, you're working, and should be ready. Well, no, Abuna, because I'm still enjoying my singlehood years. Okay, don't ruin it for me. Okay, so always thinking that marriage is the end is the end of the road. Marriage is the end of the road. Hmm? End of freedom. End of the freedom. End of my life, basically. Um, huh? Istishhad, martyrdom. This is the nice word. The other word is yeah, طبعا people. This goes with the first point. Any wedding, you find people, Habibi, why are you committing going to martyrdom? Why are you committing suicide? Yeah,
Well, you do get a crown for marriage. So.
you do get a crown for martyrdom and for marriages as well. That's why they wear crowns, right? Um, and we try to convince you that these crowns are royal crowns, and they are royal crowns. They are. That's true. Okay. So actually, here I'm gonna use 10 reasons, the top 10 reasons why people actually um, don't want to get married, or like they have the fear of commitment. Okay, let me read for you 10 and just enjoy them. So in this study that was done in a university, uh, in page 86, here are the top 10 reasons why single men, they did it for men, but I see it applied to women as well, choose to stay single according to Rodriguez study. First, they can get sex without marriage. So the first one, the first reason, they can get sex without marriage. Two, they enjoy the benefits of having a wife by cohabitating, living together. By the way, in the Coptic Church, there are some cases as well, or to a great extent. So we're not far from the society or from the studies. Three, they want to avoid divorce and its financial risks because I made lots of money and I don't want to share that if divorce is going to happen, and the likelihood, as per statistics, this is most likely is going to happen. There's a high chance. They want to wait until they are older to have children. So they're using marriage just as a means to start having children. Okay? They fear that marriage will require too many changes and compromises. Okay? Number six, they are waiting for the perfect soulmate, and she has not appeared yet, or he has not appeared yet. We all sit down like the perfect person did not show up yet, right? And most abunas, most priests, including myself, whenever someone comes in, they say, "What, Abuna? I'm looking to get married, and I'm considering so and so, but I'm not sure." And we all say, if it's not the right person, it's better to stay single than to get married. Okay? As much as it is true, yet I think many of us took it out of context that I'm looking for the perfect person. Rather than when we say, we are meaning that you have to be the perfect person, you have to be ready, you have to be ready to sacrifice. Number seven, they face fewer social pressures to marry. So now in the society, in the community, there are not many pressures. Maybe in our community a little bit more. But in general, actually, no, seriously, in general, it's a lot less. Yani say 50 years ago, in our community, by age of 20, if you're not married, the girls, if they're not married, you're gonna be forced to get married. Okay? But that's a big change. That's a huge shift. Number eight, they are reluctant to marry a man or woman who already has children. So this is something else, because now or was married before. People are reluctant. Understandably so, but there are so many exceptions now, especially with the high rate of divorce. Number nine, they want to own a house before they get into marriage. And the last one, they want to enjoy single life as long as they can. They want to enjoy single life as long as they can. You get the dilemma? Like, I want to enjoy life and being single before I get married or commit. So, how can I say this? The temptation, basically, the temptation to live a singlehood or a single life, being single, is so high that I don't want to get married. I don't want to give up this life of being single. I'm so comfortable. So, yeah, this is so sad in today's culture, unfortunately. And especially the first reason, the top reason of the 10 is that the youth who answered this research, they said, well, this study, that I'm getting sex outside. Why do I get married now and commit? And this is very sad that that sex is the focus. Or even, I'm not gonna say, طبعا احنا we call it differently here. Unfortunately, let's be a little bit honest about this. We do a lot of other things, I'm trying to figure out, Abuna, that if this person we're compatible sexually, we can experiment things, right? Like, or such as like hooking up, or like other things that we are just trying things out. How would I know, Abuna? I cannot try that because basically in the Bible it did not say I can have any physical interaction with another person unless there is marriage. Basically, I'm ruining it for myself and for the other person. And this is creating and making singlehood or being single more and more attractive. Because today I'm dating so and so, and we get physical to a certain level, even if it does not involve intercourse, it's still sex. Okay? And it still affects me, and I'm getting some kind of enjoyment, and 1 year, 2 years, and then move to the other person. Well, things didn't work out, I didn't feel it. It goes back to the same reason. The things that we do, there are so many things that we do thinking that it's going to lead to marriage, but unfortunately, those very things that we are doing are stressing and confirming to stay single. Okay. Another one is also like the new invention. I don't know who came up with this term, situationship, right? يعني احنا طول الوقت, all the time we are in situationship. When this situation is gonna end, we don't know, right? That's the best term to free me from responsibility. We are in situationship. I don't know. Type how? No, we don't know yet. Things will happen. I'm sure things will evolve at some point, Abuna. I'm sure I'll feel it. I'll feel it. Believe me. How are you gonna feel it? We'll wait. We'll wait. So, meanwhile, what are you doing? Oh, we're just talking. We're just talking. So, is there any plan? No. We're comfortable this way. She agreed to it. He agreed to it. And we're fine, Abuna. So we are doing these things because many times, you know what? I'm gonna agree to this arrangement, hoping that I'm going to convince her or convince him that we are a good match. And this hope never materialize, never come to any result. And things then break up, and we have hard time trying to understand what went wrong. Okay. Or another one, we are still dating. Did you guys talk about dates for proposal? Did you talk about what are the expectations for wedding? Well, did you talk about anything? These are far, Abuna. We're still at the beginning. How long have you been dating? We've been 6, 9 months now. We're okay. Still trying to figure out things. I tell you, you're trying to convince yourself that you're figuring out things. You're trying to convince yourself that things are good and well. Meanwhile, you're just delaying the breakup and delaying like living single again. Okay. So another one, financial stability. We try to convince ourselves that I want to make a little bit more money. I want to buy my first house or my first property so that I can be ready to get married. When you meet the person, you're gonna look at them and say and see, okay, I have a good job, I have a property, I'm established financially. What are you gonna add to me? What are you gonna add to me if we get married? No, I'm comfortable being single, so let me move on to another person or another opportunity. So, unfortunately, more and more we're coming to it's based on how I feel. How I feel and how long can I or how long can this feeling last? Yani I'm happy with this person. How long is this feeling of happiness is going to last? And you're saying, okay, if it's just based on feeling, then it's the wrong measure. It's the wrong method to measure the relationship. That brings us, of course, so what does God say about this? Why do we get married then? If it's not for financial, God, yes, set humans to have marriage, so also to be sexually active in marriage and all of that, to be intimate, to be emotional, all of that. But what's the reason for marriage? Why do we get married? Why do you think we get married? I'm asking. أمير again طب ما ندي فرصة للتانيين. Why do we get married? In a meeting of young adults, people are sitting down not knowing why God created marriage. Let me put it in there. Why did God create marriage? I can't believe that you have no idea why God created marriage. Be fruitful. Okay, be fruitful and multiply. Okay. Acceptable answer, yes.
Said it is not good for man to be alone, so he made a helper comparable to him.
Very good. He said it's not good to leave man alone. It's important to create helper comparable. Very good. You're getting there. Even a little bit closer than this. This is part of the answer, yes. To attain salvation, and that means all the monks are not being saved.
Like you said, together.
Okay, together. Sure, we can. Good, it's a good answer, acceptable. But still looking for something much deeper. Why did God create husband and wife, man and woman, to be in marriage?
So you can live a life of sacrifice for the other person.
To live a life of sacrifice. Okay, very close. Yes, Lydia.
Like Christ.
Christ.
We cannot even hear you.
Is it like a reflection of Christ and the church?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 22 to 31, 32. If you open that, St. Paul speaks about husband and wife, Christ and the church. Christ sacrificed himself, so also husbands have to sacrifice themselves for their wives. And the church also accepted Christ and submit to Christ, so also wives should be submissive to their husbands in that kind of way. Good. Very close. Almost there. One step. You're the two of you one step away. Yes.
God said it's not good that a man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. Good. Twice. It's good. It's good. Yes. Even earlier than this, the purpose of marriage, why God created marriage, is even earlier than this. This is Genesis chapter 2. Check out Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. What does he say?
So God created man in his own image.
Last, God created the man in his own image. Okay. Continue.
God created him.
In the image of God, he created him.
He created them.
Male and female, he created them. So what is the image of God? Male and female. So God created marriage because marriage is a big, huge image of God, or part of the image of God. Because read it again, pay attention to it.
God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them.
Thank you. So the greater big reason why God created marriage or the relationship is so that the image of God could be displayed or could be practiced or could appear in the relationship between a husband and wife. Because God is love. So his image should be also what? Some sort of love, but it's going to be limited. So to demonstrate that love, which is God, the image of God, so that means a husband and wife will love each other. And that's why then the sacrificial love, the agape love, right? And then Lydia, you said? Yes, the church and Christ, husband and wife, right? And to be saved, that we are together, saved, that means we become together the image of God. Okay? Then after that comes the helper comparable. Then comes after that to multiply and fill the earth. You see how where that part comes? So God created marriage for a big purpose. Am I striving to be that image, or I want to be single because I'm comfortable, because I'm independent? I want to be my own. I don't want anyone to disturb my comfortable life. Okay? And the research from this book, also another study, showed that actually married couples are happier, are healthier. They're even, of course, better financially because both of them are together. Okay? And also, when it comes to sex, they have better sex than single or unmarried couples, even those who are committed, and they enjoy sex more emotionally and physically. This is based on scientific research. Okay? And of course, there is a better support during illness. So, God created us as social beings. God created us as social beings. Every time we try to be just by ourselves, we are working against our own nature, against what God created us to be. Just I'm going to take it a little bit further. When God created man at the beginning, created him with responsibility or no? What was the responsibility of man at the beginning?
If I'm not mistaken, he was supposed to rule over the creation.
He's supposed to rule over the creation, to take care of the creation. And then Adam started looking at all the animals and see them male and female and getting to know them and know about them and about what they do. And then he would do what? He would name them, right? He would name the animals, right? But then when it comes to himself, he found what? He found himself alone. So he said, this is not right. I'm not created to be alone. I need someone else. So who is the first person that was seeking relationship on earth? Who is the first person on earth that is seeking a relationship?
Adam.
Adam, a male, a man. When you come to relationship issues and struggles, what is the first, like who complains about lack of, or like who is after connecting and relationship and communication and understanding and listening? Who's after all of these things? Eve, the woman, is after all these things. Meanwhile, the natural existence is what is the male. The man is supposed to be leading in this area. That's how God actually created him. That's how God created, and he was like, I need someone to communicate with. I need someone to connect with. I need someone, to have a relationship with. Right? I think in turn to Genesis also. I think they put it Genesis 2:23. When Adam found Eve, he said, "What? This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called what? A woman." What did he do? He named her. It's exactly the same job that he's been doing all along. He saw all the creation of God, and he understood the creation. He understood the animals. He understood each character. He understood, the nature, the purpose, the function, and then he would name everything. The same thing when it came to the woman. He also understood she is what? Bone of his bones, flesh of his flesh. حتة منه كده. Right? بالعربي it sounds much better, right? When بالEnglish, in the English, basically you say like you're my soulmate, and that's so romantic. In Arabic, انت حتة مني. مش كده؟ Well, this is what he said, انت حتة مني يعني. And then he called her woman. You see the change of roles, how now girls, women are looking for the connection, looking for the relationship. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be the man's responsibility to look for. Okay? So, يعني, guys, and that's why in this, Adam was pursuing Eve. Adam was going and looking for Eve. And that's why it's natural for women to feel the need to be pursued by a man. Right? And what do guys do? What do guys now do? They just sit, relax. What is that, Omer? Shy away, and they kind of like just keep throwing those terms, situationship. Let's see, so that they can see if the woman is gonna come after them, if she's gonna show emotions, she's gonna show interest, and then they can take a step, right? Sorry guys, but we caused this struggle that we're having nowadays. The being comfortable in singlehood. We caused it because men are not taking that role of being leaders, of taking responsibilities. Okay? So, I pray that during this series that we change the way we think. And when we change the way we think, I'm hoping and praying that we also change the way we behave. And eventually, hopefully, we change the pattern of behaviors, so that we can help one another, so that we can change the next generation to a better way of communicating, to a better way of taking responsibility, of a better way of making decisions to love, not just rely on the emotional part. Glory be to God and His church forever and ever. Amen. Question.